Well, if you're like me, you're ready to get outside and start prepping your planting beds for this coming year. So we're about a month out from planting right now, so this is the ideal time to get out and locate the area you want to plant in and prepare the soil for your annuals or your vegetables that you're going to put in them for this summer. So the first thing you want to do is try to locate an area that really is in full sun. You don't want to have too much in the way of possible shade from a tree or from a building. So most of our annual flowers and our vegetables are going to prefer a full sun site. The next stage is clearing the site. So if it's a lawn area, then you're going to scrape away the grass, and I would just go ahead and compost that. We don't want to incorporate that into our soil. If it's a mulch bed like this, pull away as much mulch as possible. Again, we don't want to incorporate mulch into the soil. It will rob nitrogen from the soil initially. Once we have that done, then we'll go ahead and get some compost. We'll put down 2 to 3 inches of compost on top and then dig that in. And you can use a small tiller perhaps, or today we're going to use a fork, a garden fork, to go ahead and incorporate that into the soil. So if you have an existing garden site, you'll want to, like we've done here, pull the mulch back. And in a case like this, to avoid bringing up some of the weed seeds that may be down in the soil, we'll spread compost over the top of a site like this, rake it in, and not dig it into the soil. That way, ideally, we avoid some of the weeds that may come up later in the year. If you're going to apply a fertilizer to the bed, then you'll look at what the plants require, so do a little research on that. You'll also want to look at the product you're going to apply, look at the label there to see how much to put out. So when we fertilize, we'll use 1 pound per 100 square feet of a balanced fertilizer, a 10% nitrogen, 10% phosphorus, 10% potassium fertilizer, spread evenly through the bed, and then incorporate that as well into the bed. A third thing to think about is if you're going to need to walk through the bed, once you have the bed prepped, perhaps mulch those paths so you don't compact the soil through the year as you're working in the garden. So when we prep our bed, we want to make sure that we remove any lawn or mulch before we do any incorporating into the bed. We want to make sure we add a couple inches of compost to it. And then we want to avoid over-tilling the soil. Make sure that we work it in, but we don't overdo it. We don't want to damage the soil structure too much.